Unacademy. Let's crack it.
Hi guys, I'm Dr. Zainab Vora from Unacademy, and I have the pleasure and the honor of introducing you guys to Dr. Ravi Kumar, INI-CET rank 23 in 2021. So hi Dr. Ravi, how are you? And many congratulations from the behalf of Unacademy team.
Thank you, ma'am.
So
It's
how
a pleasure.
and how was your parents and your family's reaction to this rank?
They were very excited. Everyone was calling me that you have done very well. And even they were not expecting that I will do this well.
That's great. I'm sure that was a pleasant surprise to have. So I think
Yes.
for the viewers who are watching you, they are very interested, to know your plan and how you managed to achieve this amazing rank. So let's divide it into two parts. So let's first talk about your, major macro plan that when you started out, probably in your internship, how did you design that this is how I want to study? Majorly I want to start out with theory notes. So what was your, strategy that way?
Ma'am, my basic strategy was that I should know what are my good subjects and what are my weakness. So in the initial part of my internship, I started on my weakness so that I can make them a bit strong. Uh, and the last time I can't work on my weakness. So initial part, I work on my weakness, some subjects which I didn't score well or I didn't feel confident in. So I worked on those subjects and make them stronger.
Right.
And I read the notes
Okay.
more time and time, and then I found that something I miss upon or I feel difficult. I make some easy way to learn that. I use different sources to how can I learn that easily, because I think that nothing is difficult if you have a way to understand it easily. It
Right.
is the way that makes it difficult or easy.
Yes.
So initially I was doing that thing only, and I was basically doing subjects in a week, one subject in a week, and some more time to the week topics.
Okay. Right.
And I completed my first reading around in July.
Okay.
Uh, then I started my second reading, and then I completed around October, and then I get my first NECT in
Right.
November.
Right. So while you were doing your first revision, I have two questions. Did you do subject-wise MCQ simultaneously, or did you do it in a test and discussion kind of format?
Ma'am, I did both.
Okay.
When I was reading on in a week, on day by day, if I completed some topic of the subject, I used to solve the question bank of that subject, and at the end of the week, I used to give the TNT of that subject. So in a sense, I was doing both things.
And were you giving GTs from the beginning, or you slowly, increased? How was your approach to grand tests?
Yes,
Yes.
I first gave GT in the end of the January, and then I gave around one GT or maximum two GT per month.
Okay.
Then when I felt confident I have completed my one revision,
Yeah.
then I can increase the frequency of GT. Then around June, July, I started giving 2 or 3 GT in a month,
Okay.
and the last week I give weekly GTs just before examination.
Right. And, after your November INI-CET happened, how did your strategy change, and what did you really learn out of that experience that, you changed?
Yes, ma'am. In the normal NECT, I was good on knowledge, but I didn't plan the examination. I just gave the examination that I have to give an examination. I will study and give the examination. There was no planning. I didn't solve the previous year questions. I just read my notes and gave the examination. I was doing the same thing in the previous GTs also.
Right.
I never thought that these things are repeated and these are the important topics.
Right.
So that was a learning that people I saw the other people's were uh, were using the previous year questions, and they were solving them, and they were doing well because of that.
Yeah.
So I started stressing upon important topics which are repeated multiple times in the examination.
Right. So I think what we can take out from this, just to summarize very quickly, is while you're starting out, it's always better to take a subject-wise approach. So master the subjects individually by giving test and discussion and subject-wise MCQs. But do not forget previous year questions and grant tests, which are something which are going to be very, very important. And bring them more into the picture once your first cycle of revision is over, and then you can do them more aggressively to make the best use of it. So this was your
Once you have read all the subjects, you feel confident in solving the grand test. Otherwise,
right. And how did you go about analyzing your GTs? Again, I'm very curious to know, like, how much time did you spend, and what was your approach?
and I just reviewed the important question, which I thought that this could be repeats or this could be relevant for the examination. There are some questions you think that these are new and they won't be asked again in the examination.
Yeah.
This sense comes after practicing
Yeah.
more and more questions that this is not that important for the examination. So I just reviewed the important ones, which I feel that it is important, or the mistakes I have made, the silly mistakes I have made in the examination. And I took around 2 to 3 hours to review a GT, not more than that.
Right. And was there any particular place where you used to note down your mistakes that you went back to, or it was just in the moment you used to add it to your notes itself?
No, I made some groups, WhatsApp groups of subjects in which I had sent the screenshot of that questions. I didn't added much in my notes. If I there was the thing is was already in my notes. I went to that and read that again.
Right. So I think it's very, very important not to miss out on those mistakes and, to review them again, because otherwise all of that time which you have invested in giving the grand test and reviewing it goes to waste if you don't really compile what you have learned and then revise that compilation. That is something which is a very big takeaway. Again, something interesting about your everyday, how did you plan each and every day? And, was it a plan that was already made the previous night, that this is what I'm going to plan today and this is what I'm going to study today? And how did you divide it? Like only notes or mixing it up with classes, with live classes? How was that? How was your day, before INI-CET?
Before INI-CET, I used to make weekly plans that I will do this things I wrote down on the board that this things I will do in this time. So there was a weekly plan and I used to lag on them, but I used to have a buffer zone after the week that if I lag, I will cover it that time. So it was a weekly plan, and I used to in the last 2 to 3 weeks of INI-CET, I used to cover the entire 19 subjects in 1 week. I was just reading fastly, so I was able to cover I made around 2 revisions, but the cancelment of the examination, the postponement of the examination, I made 2 revisions in between.
Yeah, so this is what I also like to call as the filtering technique. You start out with so much information and then eventually you have that stuff gathered out where you have your material. In fact, of all 19 subjects, like you're saying, that that this is something I have to see before my exam. And that is so very important because it gives you the confidence also. I think going into the exam, if you have seen that, rather than, feeling that my entire subject is left or I'm very, very scared of that subject, this gives you a lot of confidence stepping into the exam hall. And apart from that, if we talk about the special classes on Unacademy, which you say you've seen, how was your approach to them? Like, did you see them as live classes or as recorded ones? Because Unacademy gives you that advantage to, make use of both. So what was your approach regarding this same?
Ma'am, I came across the videos in about last week of April. I didn't know that these are the classes that are going on Unacademy. So I saw them. I thought that they are very high topics are being taught there, and the things, some things were that I was planning to make. That I will make the a PDF, or I will collect the photos of all the splints and write them. And I saw that someone is doing that thing on my part only. So I was very glad that I was very glad that I'm getting these materials without making any effort. So that time I thought that I will see all the videos of special classes of by you of the Midnight Express and NEET series. So I thought that I can't see that throughout the day. So whenever I feel that I have done too much of reading of my notes, so I feel tired. So I watched your videos, which were pre-recorded videos on 2x,
Okay.
and I covered around 2 to 3 videos per day. So I was able to cover around most of the Midnight Express by you, and
Right.
I revised the splint and the instrument video and the contraceptive video, which were there just day before the examination.
All right, all right.
Yes,
So you basically use them as supplementation and also in between
yes, ma'am.
your break, to
To reinforce the concept which I made during my studying of notes. They were very that I have studied the same thing you are telling me.
so we tried to do a lot of mixed bag topics in Midnight Express. That was the whole aim, that it gives you that boost to your last minute revision, not to serve as the primary source, but that very quick
Yes, ma'am.
last minute revision. That was the whole idea behind it.
I used to I used to watch them at around whenever it was available after the recording. Just
Yeah,
before sleeping, I used to watch the video and complete it in a half an hour and
so
then
that
sleep
can be your
daily.
sleep cycle also, that you did not sleep before
Yes, ma'am.
because the record
Yes,
was not
ma'am.
available before one.
I
Oh,
slept around 1:30 daily
right.
after watching your videos.
Amazing. All right. So I'm so happy that I could have played that role in your, that small role in your success. So
No, ma'am, it was a very big role,
because I
I would say.
compiled splints, I know that's because I compiled all the splints for you. So
No, ma'am, there are many more things apart from the splints.
thank you. No, I'm just
Which
kidding.
were
Thank
there. I just recall those things because I revised them before the examination. I
you.
have seen even more things than that.
Yeah. So apart from that, who's else? I mean, did you follow on Unacademy, and whose classes did you like to watch?
Ma'am, I watched Devesh Mishra sir's class on. He used to uh, revise pathology by in form of question answers. So I used to follow his notes. So I followed his videos also, and by reading his notes retrospectively from question, it was more reinforcement of the notes in my brain.
Right, right, right. Great. And if we go on to talk about the exam per se, INI-CET exam per se, what was your learning from it that could help your juniors now? The exam is over, but what was the takeaway message for those the students who are appearing for the November exam? That is there something predictable? Is there something strategizable about it that you learned?
Yes, and the difference in my November INI-CET and the INI-CET I gave in July was
Yeah,
the difference of strategy in me.
yeah,
I was lacking the strategy in November. Rest the things were same.
yeah.
So with strategy, you can improve at least if you are in under 500 rank. Without strategy, you can go under 50 with
Yeah. So in
strategy
the same
because
percentage base, you are saying that your rank were two very very different numbers with just that guidance and that strategy.
yes,
So
ma'am.
yeah, what was that strategy like?
Ma'am, first you should know what are the topics which are important for this exam. You should filter out the topics. You don't have to study each and every topic for aims
Mhm.
because it will make the things burden for you in
Yeah,
the last minute. You can't revise everything, so you should be doing the most high yield things which are often repeated in aims. So that was a very big learning for me for this INICT. I did not do the previous year question. Solved the previous year question and watched them. Then I realized that the question of 2018 aims were repeated on in 2019 aims. So I got a proof that yes, this is the reality. I was thinking that no, things are not repeated, but when
great.
I saw them, I realized that no, this is the truth, and we should do this.
And even if they don't get repeated directly, the direct questions
Yes, on the top.
definitely have a pattern.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. That's so. All right. So thank you so much, Dr. Ravi. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and very happy, to listen from you and your journey. And I'm sure the listeners also gained a lot, and they get a better perspective on how to go about it, and maybe correct their own, mistakes by learning from
Yes,
your
ma'am.
journey. So hopefully it would be of help to everybody who's listening to us. So thank you so much and wishing you all the very best for your upcoming journey as a resident now, hopefully in medicine. So
Thank you,
wishing
ma'am.
you all the very best and see you and very, very good luck from Unacademy. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.